we begin in Minneapolis, where protests are happening today following the ICE shooting that happened yesterday. The FBI is investigating the incident that killed a 37-year-old woman. A warning, the video you're about to see is graphic. So here's what you're looking at. It shows the incident unfolding, ICE agents approaching the car, and then they open fire as she tries to drive away. There you see those officers approaching the car. As she attempts to drive away, there's an officer who is situated in front of that vehicle who fires those shots, killing Renee Good. The Trump administration says Renee Good was trying to run over that ICE officer, who says fired at her in self-defense. Governor Tim Walz argues the mass deployment of federal agents has created the chaos that has led to her death. Of course, the shooting has sparked reaction all across the nation. CBS News Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Skanga has the details on the differing accounts.
Eyewitness video shows a red SUV surrounded by ICE agents in South Minneapolis. But as they ordered the driver to get out, she appears to reverse, then pull away, and an agent fires 3 shots. Seconds later, the SUV slams into a parked car.
What the
Minneapolis police say the victim was found with a gunshot wound to the head. She was later identified as 37-year-old Minneapolis resident Renee Good and pronounced dead at the hospital. Hundreds of demonstrators flooded the scene in response. And chaos erupted as people clashed with law enforcement, who fired tear gas into the crowds packed along icy streets.
They're chasing ICE out. They launched like 4 or 5 canisters. A bunch of people got gas.
As federal and state investigators examined the deadly use of force and whether it was warranted.
She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle, and she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem claimed the driver had been, quote, stalking agents all day and had perpetrated, quote, an act of domestic terrorism.
It's very clear that this individual was harassing and impeding law enforcement operations. Our officer followed his training, did exactly what he's been taught to do in that situation, and took actions to defend himself.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey had some choice words for the Trump administration's self-defense argument.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bull.
And he aimed this explicit order at federal immigration agents.
Get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
And if they don't pull out, more is going to happen.
We spoke to Minneapolis residents Lynette Rainey Grandel and Venus DeMars, who witnessed the deadly incident Wednesday. And took this video of officers approaching the vehicle moments before shooting the driver. DeMars called this a tipping point.
We just watched a murder by our government. This is America. Is this going to be our America now?
CBS News correspondent Ash-har Quraishi is joining me now live from Minneapolis. So, Usher, we saw protests yesterday. My guess is that there will be more today. The question, of course, is how is law enforcement preparing to handle the tension in the city?
Right. I mean, this is not a city that has not seen this before. So they have prepped for this for years, really, Vlad. And, you know, as you mentioned, it was very volatile last night. I was talking to our colleague Nicole Skanga, who you just heard from, who said that the frustration and the animosity that was seen on the streets here was not just between residents and protesters and law enforcement and these federal agents, but also with the media. There is frustration as well. It has been very quiet here this morning. Just up until the last few minutes, we started to see people starting to show up as the sun has come up. In the distance just behind me is a small memorial to Renee Good. There are candles, there are stuffed animals, and now we're starting to hear people who are very angry about what's going on here, and the police are at the ready. We've heard that they've asked for calm, obviously. That's something we keep hearing from them. And the police chief, Brian O'Hara, appealing to residents here in Minneapolis to do this calmly, not to obstruct roadways, not to throw items. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
This is a tragedy. I would hope, no matter what side of politics people are on, we can recognize that the loss of a human life is a tragedy, and that we do not want to compound that by having a situation which can result in destruction or further harm to this community, which has been through so much over the last 5 years. So we are calling for peace.
And Vlad, just so you know, I mean, this location, we're just blocks away from where George Floyd was killed. This is a neighborhood that has been reeling for years, and now they're contending with this latest incident with this shooting that occurred yesterday morning.
So, as you point out, Usher, this is a city and a state that's seen a devastating school shooting, a political assassination in recent months. How is the city trying to move forward? Can it move forward?
It's a great question. And again, you know, I was out here just a few months ago when that shooting occurred at the Annunciation Church and School. It's still raw. You still have people who are trying to heal from that particular incident. And I think that it feels a little bit different right now. I don't think we're at, obviously there is sadness, but there is a lot more anger and frustration at this point. And I think that the opposition to these ICE operations that have been taking place throughout the city over the last few days, that we've seen that increase of more than 2,000 federal agents here. The opposition to that operation is just growing and growing. And the question is, how volatile will this situation get? Obviously, we will be here to see what happens.
Yep, Usher, I know you will. Thank you very much. Appreciate your reporting. The Trump administration has been defending that ICE agent's action. Last night on the CBS Evening News, Tony Dokoupil pressed border czar Tom Homan about the use of force.
I'm not going to make a judgment call on one video when there's 100 videos out there. I wasn't on the scene. I'm not an officer that may have body cam video. I have not seen ICE act outside of policy. And if they are acting outside of policy, I'm not aware of it, there will be an investigation that will be held accountable.